Is this the start of a national movement against standardized tests?
I think it might be. You know, it's been over a decade now since Congress passed the No Child Left Behind Act and ushered in this so-called era of high-stakes testing. And certainly what I've seen over that time period is that there's been a lot of private discontent, but never enough to generate sufficient public noise that could impact policy. Standardized tests were originally created back in 1914 to try to make the learning experience less subjective, but learning itself is a highly personalized, highly individualized experience. So the more the way you assess learning reflects an individual's interests that they want to pursue, the more likely that process of assessment is going to have real value for them. Is that from the Pacific Northwest to the Lone Star State, there is a groundswell of educators who are now publicly saying enough is enough.
So there's a lot of public outcry over this. Are any districts or any states doing any alternatives that you've seen as successful?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times when people talk about alternatives, they first look outside of the U.S. and point to a country like Finland that has no national exams. It doesn't mean they have no national tests. Sorry, it doesn't mean they have no tests. It just means that any test a student takes in Finland is designed and administered by the people that know him best, his teachers.
How do you feel about standardized testing?
I believe that it keeps the teachers from being able to teach everything, and it also keeps the fun out of learning, and that you kind of get wrapped up in the test instead of the learning process that the students go through.
So you feel that if there wasn't a standardized test, you could teach your students a lot more?
Yes, I definitely feel that it keeps us below what the students are capable of, and the expectations stay low.
If I'm a parent out there and I'm in a place where they give standardized tests and I want to change that, what's the one thing that parent can do?
Well, you know, in the same way that our elected officials are there to respond to our wants, I think our neighborhood schools are there to respond to and reflect our values. So the most important thing any parent can do is, first of all, think, what is it at the end of my child's educational experience I want him or her to know, feel, and be able to do? And then begin a conversation with your school. What are our measures of success here? No one is saying that it isn't important to learn how to read and to count, but what else matters? What are the other attributes of success, and how do we know we're being successful? Every parent can initiate that conversation right now in their own community and do a lot of good.
How did you feel about taking the standardized test?
I felt really pressured all the time, and my teachers always just concentrated on taking the test all the time instead of concentrating on learning what we're really supposed to be learning in school.
Do you think standardized testing limited what you learned?
Kind of, because you can only focus on certain things. So if a teacher wants to teach you other stuff, they can't, because you can only learn certain things for the test.
So if you had the opportunity to get rid of standardized testing, would you do so?
Yes, if I had the power to tell any politician that would listen that it is hurting the students and inhibiting the teachers, I would get rid of it.
Do you think that they should get rid of the standardized tests?
yes, I do feel they should, because there's a lot of other little kids, such as the 3rd graders and up, that feel that pressure, and they shouldn't be feeling stress at such a young age. Or even for people in high school, they should feel like they're going into college and they should be learning about how to deal with college work instead of the tax test.
They should get rid of it.
Yes, because it just puts so much pressure on a student, because you have to pass that test in order to get to the next grade level. And what if some students they don't test well, like I don't test well. Like you get anxiety and like so many other things, so I don't think it's fair to some students.
Stop standardized testing.
Stop standardized testing.
Stop standardized testing.
Stop standardized testing.
Stop